Montenegro has a unique character with its own rules for hospitality, communication, and even driving. Today, I'll share how to blend in with the locals, avoid looking like a typical tourist, and steer clear of common mistakes. These aren't just tips, they're the key to an unforgettable Montenegrin vacation. What a view! Montenegro's tricky location confuses Europeans. We're right next to the European Union and we even use the euro, but we are still not part of it. Many people think that renting a car in Croatia makes it easier to reach Montenegro, but that's a misconception. During peak season, tourist traffic is intense, leading to long traffic jams at the borders, customs, and passport control. That's why it's much easier to fly directly to Montenegro and rent a car here. Now, let's talk about the mentality of Montenegrins. I will show you how to communicate with waiters in cafes and what to expect from service in Montenegro overall. Lyosha, do you want a cappuccino? Yes. Wrong answer. Why is that? You're having Dojč. What's the difference? There's a big difference. Locals don't order cappuccinos. They order Dojč because that's what cappuccino has been called here for ages. And that name has stuck to this day. The locals only call it that. By the way, waiters use this to distinguish between tourists and locals. Sometimes, even on the receipt, a regular Dojč costs $1.20, while a cappuccino is $1.40. That's just how it is.
Bravo. Može 3 dati 4 čaše vode. Hvala. Ne važi, hvala.
In Montenegro, good manners mean making eye contact and smiling while talking to someone, especially if someone greets you on the street. If someone calls out or says hello, make sure to look at them and greet them back. Many people complain about service in Montenegro, but it's important to understand that it's a cultural thing. Montenegrins are proud mountain people, not used to excessive politeness or servitude. This is especially true for waiters, who are in high demand during peak season, earning decent salaries and tips. Speaking of tips, there isn't a strict tipping culture like in America. Everyone tips at their discretion. For example, if I like the service, I leave a tip. If I don't like the service, sometimes I don't leave anything. That's why the first word tourists learn in Montenegro is Polako. Polako is the local way of life, where nothing is urgent enough to drop everything and deal with it immediately. Everything can wait until tomorrow. So when you come here, don't rush, act Polako, and enjoy every moment. Now, let's go over some basic phrases that will help you communicate with Montenegrins. First of all, we usually stress the first syllable, and we'll start with a greeting. Ciao, basically like in Italian. Hello will be zdravo, good day. Dobar dan, good morning. Dobro jutro, good evening. Dobro večer. The next thing Montenegrins say after Dobar dan ili dobro jutro ili dobro večer is kako ste, which means how are you? You don't need to answer how are you, just ask how your conversation partner is doing. The usual response to kako ste, može kako ste vi, meaning I'm good. How are you? In cafes, the basic phrases are koliko košta, how much does it cost? Imate li, do you have? Imate li kafu? Imate li vino, do you have coffee? Do you have wine? Hvala means thank you, and moli means please. To ask for the check, just say može li račun. After that, to say goodbye, you can say doviđenja or simply ciao. Montenegrin cafes and restaurants serve plenty of familiar dishes like pizza, burgers, and pasta. But your trip won't be complete without trying traditional Montenegrin food. Some must-try dishes are čovartje, kajmak, pršut, kačamak, and such. Montenegrins take hospitality seriously. If you're invited to someone's home, showing up empty-handed is considered rude. It's not about the value of the gift, it's the gesture that matters. Another point is that refusing food when invited is also considered impolite. Always try everything you are offered and compliment the host. I also want to warn you about questions like, are Montenegrins and Bosnians the same? Are Montenegrins and Serbs the same? Locals are very sensitive about such topics. We have our own Nationality, traditions, and culture. For example, Montenegrins do not like people who flaunt their status or wealth. For such people, there is a saying, which means it's easy to be you. Everyone treats each other equally, respects one another, and is very friendly. On the topic of material things, Montenegro is truly one of the safest countries. People leave their valuables unattended. If you walk through any parking lot in Montenegro, half of the cars will simply be unlocked. Parents let their children play on playgrounds without supervision, and nothing happens to them. But even so, don't let your guard down during the season. With tourists come pickpockets. One of the biggest issues we face is that people leave valuables in plain sight in their rental cars. Money, wallets, phones, which then leads to problems. So please be careful during the season. Many tourists are shocked by how locals communicate. They are very expressive, gesturing a lot, speaking loudly, and the language itself sounds quite harsh. But in most cases, they're just deciding where to go eat. So don't worry, everything is fine. You will find even more life hacks to save money in this video.